Thursday passed without any communication from Jessica, and I was starting to worry. I tried calling her several times, but the calls went straight to voicemail. I left messages asking her to call me back and let me know she was safe. By Thursday evening, I was genuinely concerned and started trying to figure out how to contact the conference organizers to check on her. Friday morning, I discovered another note that Jessica had apparently left hidden in my work bag. The note was longer and more detailed than the one she'd left on the kitchen counter. It said that she needed time and space to figure out some things about herself and our relationship, and that she was taking an extended break to gain some perspective on her life. The note continued with instructions that I should not try to contact her or look for her during this time. Jessica wrote that she needed complete freedom from our normal communication patterns to think clearly about what she wanted from her future. She said she couldn't give me a timeline for when she'd return, but that she'd be in touch when she was ready to discuss things. The note ended with Jessica saying that she loved me but needed to prioritize her own growth and self-discovery right now. She asked me to respect her need for space and to trust that she was doing what was best for both of us in the long run. She signed it with just her name, no endearments or personal touches. I was shocked and hurt by the contents of the note, but I was also angry about the deceptive way Jessica had handled the situation. She'd lied about the conference, planned this departure in advance, and left me to discover her real intentions through hidden notes rather than having an honest conversation about her feelings and plans. After reading the note several times and trying to process what Jessica was telling me, I decided to take her instructions seriously. If she wanted space and freedom from our relationship to figure out what she wanted from life, I would give her exactly that. I would not try to contact her or interfere with whatever process she was going through. However, I also realized that if Jessica was taking a break from our marriage to evaluate her commitment to our relationship, I needed to protect myself legally and financially during this period of uncertainty. I couldn't just wait indefinitely for her to decide whether she wanted to be married to me, especially when she'd been deceptive about her plans and intentions. That Friday afternoon, I called my attorney to discuss my options and get advice about how to handle the situation. My lawyer explained that Jessica's behavior could be considered abandonment of the marriage, and that I had the right to take steps to protect my interests if my spouse had left without clear intentions of returning. I spent the weekend thinking carefully about what I wanted to do. Jessica had made it clear that she wanted freedom from our relationship and our normal patterns of communication. She'd been deceptive about her plans and had left me to guess about her intentions and timeline. I decided that if she wanted to be free to evaluate her life choices, she should do so as a single person rather than as someone who was married to me. Monday morning, I began taking concrete steps to give Jessica the complete freedom she'd said she needed. Update 1. The first week after I decided to take Jessica's request for freedom seriously was a whirlwind of practical decisions and legal paperwork. I wanted to ensure that Jessica got exactly what she'd asked for, complete independence from our marriage and the responsibilities that came with it. My first step was to contact our bank and credit card companies to freeze our joint accounts and remove Jessica as an authorized user on all financial products. I explained to each institution that my spouse had abandoned our marriage and that I needed to protect myself from potential financial liability during our separation. The process was straightforward since most accounts were primarily in my name due to my higher and more stable income. I also contacted our insurance companies to remove Jessica from our health, auto, and homeowners policies. Since Jessica had requested freedom from our normal relationship patterns, I figured she'd want the independence of securing her own insurance coverage rather than depending on policies I maintained and paid for. Next, I met with my attorney to begin divorce proceedings. My lawyer was surprised by how quickly the situation had developed, but she agreed that Jessica's behavior constituted abandonment and that I had grounds for filing immediately. We prepared paperwork citing irreconcilable differences and Jessica's abandonment of the marriage as reasons for seeking dissolution. The divorce papers included a request for exclusive use of our marital home, since Jessica had voluntarily left and hadn't indicated any intention of returning. We also included a request for division of assets based on Jessica's abandonment and her apparent intention to end the marriage by leaving without discussion or negotiation. By Wednesday of the first week, I'd successfully frozen all joint financial accounts, canceled Jessica's access to credit cards and insurance policies, and filed divorce papers with the court. Jessica's sudden departure had actually made these processes easier because I didn't have to negotiate or argue with her about each decision. I also took practical steps to secure our house and protect my personal property. I changed the locks and updated the security system, since Jessica had essentially moved out without any discussion about temporary or permanent arrangements. I researched what belongings she'd taken with her and made an inventory of items that remained in the house. Jessica had packed much more than she'd indicated when she said she was going to a conference. Her jewelry, important documents, and several suitcases worth of clothing were missing. It became clear that she'd been planning this departure for some time and had gradually removed valuable items from our house without my knowledge. I spent time that week reaching out to our mutual friends and family members to let them know that Jessica had left our marriage and that I'd filed for divorce. I was honest about the circumstances of her departure and the deceptive way she'd handled the situation. Most people were shocked because Jessica and I had always seemed like a stable, happy couple. Jessica's parents were particularly upset when I explained what had happened. They'd had no idea that Jessica was unhappy in our marriage or that she was planning to leave. Her mother called Jessica repeatedly that week but couldn't reach her, which confirmed that Jessica was indeed avoiding all contact with her normal life and relationships. My own family was supportive of my decision to file for divorce rather than waiting indefinitely for Jessica to decide what she wanted. They pointed out that Jessica's deceptive behavior and sudden abandonment showed a lack of respect for our marriage that wasn't likely to improve even if she decided to return.
Part 3 coming up.